Good morning, good afternoon, good evening, wherever you may be across this great nation and around the basketball world. Welcome to Courtside Heat, the podcast, NBA Finals edition. We are so excited to have you guys, brand new listeners, welcome. Get back in the archives, jump into some of our older stuff. You're really going to enjoy it. Returning listeners, we appreciate our audience so very much. You can hear us almost anywhere, but specifically SoundCloud, YouTube, website, Instagram, and all the goodies. We're going to be in NBA Finals breakdown mode, but none of this is possible without the man, the myth, the legend, the man that Adrian Wojnarowski, Woj, the Putz, wishes he could be. The man of all things basketball, Josh. Josh, how are you, pal?
I'm doing good. How are you doing?
I am doing fantastic, although there's a huge part of me today that was wishing we would be talking about a Game 7 coming up on Wednesday. But nonetheless, the 2019-2020 NBA season is in the books, and your winner is the Los Angeles Clippers. Oh no, they choked for the 17th time, more than the Nature Boy Ric Flair. Woo! He was 16-time World Heavyweight Champion, son. The Lakers, 17-time, one for Kobe. The Los Angeles Lakers are your NBA Finals champions. What's your initial thoughts coming off just the series as a whole?
Series as a whole, to me, I saw it was pretty entertaining as things went. I know that he went down to nothing, but at least they made it interesting, trying to make a comeback. At least we got people talking about trying for that Heat, trying to force the Game 7. It was like Jimmy Butler's had a little mama mentality, trying to get through this NBA Finals. So yeah, really exciting.
Yeah, so really, before we jump into the analysis, as always, in fact, it flew off the shelf this morning. LeBron James cards are going like wildfire right now. But as always, guys, we want to carry on the conversation post-podcast. In fact, if you got questions and you got things that you want to talk about, hit us on Twitter at CourtSideHeat. You can find us on Instagram at CourtSideHeatNBA. On Parler. Come on, Parler people. It's just not for politicians. There's a lot of great basketball content happening by, well, us, on Parler, at Courtside Heat. Very awesome. And as mentioned, the LeBron James stuff, the Lakers stuff, is legit flying off the shelf. People can't get enough of it. Magic Johnson went this week. What was the other thing that went with Magic?
Charles Barkley.
Yeah, Charles Barkley. A little old school happening. We got some LeBron James stuff from his Cleveland Cavalier days. We got tons of stuff. I don't know. We got hundreds and hundreds and hundreds of items happening at CourtsideHeat.com/store. Or if you're more of a Macari sort of guy, I get it. Nice and easy to remember. CourtsideHeat.store. I think I actually gave the page wrong. I think it's CourtsideHeat.com/shop. I think I said CourtsideHeat.com/store. Doesn't matter. CourtsideHeat.com/shop. And then for our Macari store, CourtsideHeat.store. So, yeah, look, Amazon Prime Day start tomorrow. We're going to be doing some crazy stuff. We're going to be promoting through the social media. I'm sure Josh is going to have a stream of his Larry Legend figures, of all his starting lineup figures. We got rooms full of cards and pictures and autographs and all kinds of crazy stuff. CourtsideHeat.com/shop. CourtsideHeat.store for everything Macari. Now, that being said, first, before we jump into the finals, let's do a 30,000-foot analysis of the year. Next week, we're going to do more of an in-depth year in review and really kind of give it a breakdown of the haves, have-nots, who failed. Look, make no mistake about it. In the start, stop, bubble. I don't want to call it a pandemic because it really wasn't a pandemic by numbers. People are just using that phrase. But a kind of bad flu season. Um, anyway, the Lakers are your champions, and there's something to be said for that. I'm not entirely sure that they're the best team in Los Angeles right now, right? But I think with the Lakers winning the title, and when I actually we'll jump to the NBA Finals first. I think with the Lakers winning the title, I think the Heat were remarkable in their resilience. Last night was just you. If you were playing, I don't know, if you were playing Madden and you can see the guy's energy and health like completely depleted, except you keep giving him the ball, trying to run, like we did with Darren McFadden with the Oakland Raiders, and we just like almost literally killed him. But anyway, doesn't matter. They just had nothing left in the tank. I think what we found out about Miami is this: they can play, they can win. They're one star short from really having something. Um, Bam is good. Bam reminds me of the Matrix, Sean Marion. Just not quite the scorer that Sean Marion was. Or no, I'm going to take that back. He didn't remind me of Sean Marion. He reminds me more of Amari Stoudemire, but without the scoring mentality of Amari. And I'm talking about Amari in his prime years. He is a critical, vital role piece, player, star, all-star, but not superstar. And I don't think he's going to be a 25-point-a-night guy, and that's okay. But I think from Mickey Loomis, the owner, down to Pat Riley, the president, the head honcho, the man, and Spoelstra, they can be proud of their team's performance, but they're saying, man, where's our AD? Where is our guy to pair with our superstar? Make no mistake about it. Jimmy Butler, Jimmy Buckets, is a warrior. But he is not, fluid. He's not sexy. He's not Jordan. He's not, Grant Hill before the injuries. He's not D. Wade. He wasn't even Derrick Rose before the injuries. He's not Paul George. He's not Kawhi Leonard. He is a throwback basketball player who would have thrived in the 80s and early 90s. But make no mistake, from a 30,000-foot level looking down at the Heat, they're one star away. They need that piece. And I know in our coming podcasts, we're going to break down a couple teams per podcast, where they're lacking, where they need to go, the holes they need to fill, trades, free agency, that sort of thing. I mean, look, we're going to jump to the Lakers. We're going to give them all the due time and respect here in the world. Wouldn't it be interesting if Pat Riley could pull off a trade for Chris Paul? Could you imagine? And I know that people are going to say just re-sign Dragic. You got Tyler Hero, you got the other dude, but man, a veteran that can slow down the game, that can slow down Tyler Hero, that can slow down Bam, that can slow down Jimmy. That's a facilitator who can hit a wide open three. Real quick, you heard what was happening to Danny Green online.
Oh yeah, it was bad for him missing that shot.
Look, here's the deal. I saw on Outkick.com, Clay Travis, Gary Sheffield Jr. over there wrote an article and said, don't feel bad for Danny Green. And Danny's a stud, man, in a sense that, he took it in stride. He didn't fire back. Twitter, Facebook, and Instagram is not a place where you can just, threaten to kill somebody and their family because they missed a shot. I mean, you people need to get a life. You people need to get a clue. Social media should be a place, when a guy falls, we should be lifting him up in a big, big way. So yeah, I mean, it's kind of I was kind of really disappointed on that end of things, and but what are your thoughts? 30,000-foot level. Let's talk about the Miami Heat. Then we'll jump to the Lakers. I mean, what do you see?
I see I see that the Heat have great potential. They've shown that they can hit hard, like with the Lakers, with all the teams that they were faced. I see like what you're saying. They'll have to get another piece. That's the only way Jimmy Butler will actually thrive on this team. And I think once you get another piece, I think then that he will be a ready NBA Finals champion.
I mean, I don't know about you. I was struck at how small Miami looked. When you look at the size of the late, I mean, you got AD. I mean, AD can hit an occasional three. Right? I know he hit the game winner the one night, and people are talking like, "Hey, why didn't you pass it to AD in the corner at Game 5?" and all of those different things. But I was struck at the size of the Lakers versus the Heat. It seems to me that the Heat really lack some real size, both in the perimeter and down low.
Yeah, they just need to get that one big man that's really tall that can grab the rebounds and just able to play physical in the paint, just get down and dirty. And I don't know who that would be. Now, one player that's been looming around the Heat free agency wise was Giannis. Could Giannis be that big man they wanted? But even taking a step back, if you don't get Giannis, you would still need a big man, and I don't know who that big man will be.
It's tough. Well, it's not even necessarily a big man because, Anthony Davis, although, look, he's got a back-to-the-basket game. There's no doubt about that. I mean, look, here's what struck me. Again, we're really diving into the minutia here, of course, right? But what struck me in Game 5 and 4, probably 4, was the amount of rebounds that the guards were getting for the Lakers. I mean, it seemed like Rajon Rondo was always on the glass. And I don't know, it's like they're missing a Brooks Lopez. They're missing that guy, that DeAndre Jordan, that Al Horford. I'm funny, as bad as that contract is for the 76ers, and he's being vastly overpaid. If I was Pat Riley, I think that, I think that I'd be on the phone to somebody like Horford, see if the Sixers are willing to, eat a little bit of that contract, because Horford could be the type of gritty gutty one to kind of get them over. But I was really, Bam. Obviously, the neck injury played a part of it, but Bam is going to be a great player. I don't know. I was left there saying, great. If you shut down LeBron, you got to shut down AD, and who is that? Andre Iguodala looked good at times on the defensive end, but look, Father Time is undefeated, and if Iguodala wants to come back for one more year and he could play a role play, I just wonder if, under normal circumstances, non-bubble, would the Heat actually have come out of the East? Would the Celtics come out of the East? What do you think?
I don't know, it's tough. It hurts when there's no travel, when you can't go to another state to play, or you can't play in your hometown. That does affect. It also affects when there's no fans, because momentum, adrenaline, all that stuff can stop a player. So I think that plays a big, important part to this, but I think it was certainly different atmosphere and everything in the NBA bubble, because things were different. Players were growing accustomed to this. So I think it was weirder having all these teams like thriving, like the Celtics or someone else, and are just making this run. But I think if it was in the regular season, not so much.
Yeah, I mean, it's interesting when you start looking at the East and breaking it down and going into next year. And again, that's something we're going to do. It'll be super interesting to see what kind of team that the Nets are. But specifically, when I look at the Celtics, and I'm thinking Jason Tatum, big body, AD, or LeBron. You got Marcus Smart, you got Kemba Walker, you got Gordon Hayward. I don't know. It would have been interesting, a healthy non-bubble Celtics. It would have been interesting to see what may have happened there. But look, let's jump to the world champion Los Angeles Lakers. I mean, look, 17th time, big deal. This team threw a lot this year, right?
Right, it was. Like the Lakers, Anthony Davis, LeBron, they all said they were dedicating this season, this trophy, to Kobe Bryant when he tragically passed away in a helicopter accident. a few so many months ago. I believe it was around February or something right now.
Yeah, right in February.
Yeah, that was sad. Then you can see that LeBron was struck by, and after that he said, "We're going to dedicate this season, whatever the cost is, whatever it takes, to get a trophy for Kobe, because we know Kobe's presence, mom mentality is with us."
They only lost one game in the Mamba jerseys, right?
Right. I think
Game 5.
Yeah, I think they were 4-1.
Yeah, I mean, look, it's you look at this team, you look at the Lakers, you look at Anthony Davis. There is a lot of health concerns when it comes to Anthony Davis. There's no question about it. And the funny part to this whole thing is this. Over 82 games, over a full playoff series with travel, would the Lakers physically have held up? Look, Game 6, it's all on the line. People are starting to doubt, is LeBron going to fold yet again? Right? Is he going to do it? What does the man do? He goes out and puts a triple-double up on him. He stuck his foot on their throat from the beginning of that game. I mean, what did you see early on in Game 6?
Early on in Game 6, the Heat were gassed, and LeBron took advantage because every time he got the rebound, he would just go full speed to the air and back and forth. And you could tell early on that he were just out of it because they gave so much up in Game 5, Jimmy especially.
Yeah, what was the story about Jimmy Butler after the game?
He was so gassed, it was really hard for him to move. It was hurting him.
Yeah, he could barely walk. I mean, he literally had left it all on the court. I mean, and I guess that's always been the frustration point about LeBron James, is that he could physically take over and win on a physical level almost every game. Now, he didn't put up 50. He didn't have to put up 50, but there was an air to him last night that he simply wasn't going to lose. That he's able to dominate a game without having to stuff the stat sheet. Look, today isn't the day to talk about is he the GOAT. He's not the GOAT. We've talked about that. We're going to break that down even more in the coming weeks because it's just from an optics perspective, from a statistics perspective, from every perspective, it's not the case. But let's look. Here's the deal. Let's not take away from the fact he's a 4-time NBA champ. Yep, he's lost a bunch. But you know what? He may have lost a bunch. He still got there. Now, people will contend that, hey, the East was weak. Yeah, no doubt. When he was having some dominating years in the East were the Celtics weren't the Celtics. The Pistons were marred. I mean, the teams just weren't good. Right? I mean, the East has always been weak. The East is going to be a little bit different this upcoming season. Again, providing a part that we have a full season, I think it's going to be interesting. But look, he dominated. I know people are going to hate on me for this, and you can hate on us at CourtSideHeat on Twitter. When you look at the value, there's an interesting question for you. What is the bigger difference between Anthony Davis and Kevin Love?
Wow, what's the biggest difference? That's a tough one because even in NBA Finals with Kevin Love and LeBron, Kevin Love was always there. He was always the sideman of LeBron James, always getting in there. I think the main difference would be with Anthony Davis and Kevin Love. Anthony Davis was more versatile to take those mid-range shots, take those threes, and was more open.
No. Kevin Love is a superior long-range shooter. I mean, look, Anthony Davis is physically gifted, first and foremost. I mean, he is physically just a gifted athlete. But I find it interesting because when you look at LeBron, how does LeBron thrive? LeBron got rid of a swingman in Andrew Wiggins. And what kind of a different career Andrew Wiggins could be having if he had played alongside LeBron James. Look, he's a mass contract player. I get all that. He's making more money than he'll ever spend in his lifetime. I get all that. I'm talking about pure ball perspective. And I'm not saying that Kevin Love and Anthony Davis are the same player. I think most people would agree that Anthony Davis, on paper or by looking, seems like a better basketball player. Maybe. But Kevin Love is a double-double machine. I mean, he was getting 20 rebounds in Minnesota when nobody else was doing it in the league. I mean, he was a 20-20 guy, for heaven's sake. So, I mean, I see it with LeBron. He needs that guy that can play back to the basket, that will get the rebound, that can hit the open shot. That's a big man. Everybody can talk about what they want, but he knows what he needs to be successful. And look, here's another guy that I don't think anybody was talking about is Rajon Rondo. Rajon Rondo, as a vet, right, won a championship with the Celtics, as we all know, and all that. Rajon Rondo was instrumental and critical for the success of the Lakers in the bubble this run. There's another guy that benefited from not having to go through a full season. And LeBron being the Finals MVP, no brainer.
Yeah, we all knew that he was going to win that. It actually came out, he anonymously won 11-0 for the...
Unanimously, not anonymously. Yeah. That means, they don't know.
Yeah, unanimously, to where he won 11-0. We all knew he was going to win, and I think it's rightly deserved.
Yeah, I think it is rightly deserved. And look, he's playing alongside the Defensive Player of the Year. Right? Now, the question is, are they a piece short? Now you may just say, wait a minute, what are you talking about? They just won the NBA title. This was a different year, man. There's a bit of an asterisk to this title. There's a big difference when you don't go through the 82-game grind and the travel grind and all that. I'm not saying they're not deserving. I'm just saying there's a bit of an asterisk next to this one. I still think they're a player away. I really do, from dominating the West. The West is no joke. Utah is solid. Houston is solid. Minnesota, who knows, right? The Clippers, unbelievably solid. The Phoenix Suns, up and coming. What's the Warriors going to do? It's going to be no joke to see what may or may not come out of the West. They got to add pieces. I'm sure Rob Pelinka is on the phone tomorrow looking, what is it that we got to do? Our window of opportunity to win multiple championships with LeBron is going to close rather quickly. But yeah, it was weird. Well, I mean, how did you, overall, from when the playoffs started, forget about, all the social stuff and the Justice Warrior stuff, forget all that. Just from a basketball perspective, what was your overall feel and takeaway from that?
At the beginning of the playoffs, overall, it was interesting because with the playoffs, it was interesting perspective because there was no fans. I know they tried doing it with screens and everything, but it was interesting how the players played, how everything was flowing, and it was interesting in the beginning because as you're going through...
Was there really a compelling series, though? Was there a series that kind of... I'm trying to remember a game or a series where I was, at the edge of my seat. Maybe I missed it. Maybe I didn't see it.
I didn't see one. Okay, to be blunt, it was kind of borderline interesting, but could be also boring at the same time. Because what was that one game? Even with the Nuggets coming back against the Clippers, okay, that drew some interest, but not a lot.
I think a part of it is not having fans there because it felt like you were down at the YMCA or your local rec center watching basketball. And I'm just happy to watch basketball, don't get me wrong. But, man, when you can't hear the Heat fans in unison, chanting, beat LA, beat LA, that whole thing, or the LA fans doing, Jimmy, that whole thing. I mean, there's a certain ambiance. It's kind of taken away. That again, look, this was a rough season in total for the NBA. From the loss of Kobe, right, and that just stopped the NBA world dead in its tracks, to COVID, to the social justice warriors, to the tanking ratings. People are going to say, well, the Lakers showed perseverance. Yeah, maybe that's the case. I don't know. There could be some LeBron fatigue. I know this is hard for people to believe, but back in the 90s, there was a Jordan fatigue. Just like in the NFL, there's a Patriot fatigue. I'm sure that the NBA And of course, his outspoken nature and the goofy, stupid things that he says off the court play into a lot of people hating him because he doesn't know what he's talking about half the time. But I think there's a little bit of LeBron fatigue. He didn't make the finals last year. Mm-hmm. He made 8 straight. That got snapped last year, right?
Oh, yeah, because last year was Toronto against Golden State, where Toronto won. Yeah, I'm just going to... I want to go back real quick on the fans and everything.
Yeah.
Watching last night's game, it was pretty sad from this thing. Like, it wasn't interesting because, like, when you're going for the game, having no fans there, it made it like a regular NBA game. And even at the end, like, when everybody was celebrating, it felt awkward, it felt weird, and it was just out of place.
It does. And look, I feel bad for those guys that, all those guys on that Lakers team that worked and grinded and did all that. That's supposed to be, that the most special moment of their career. And look, you're going to get the ring. You're going to get all these things, and that's going to be pretty special. But yeah, it's crazy. But I'll tell you what. First of all, Dwight Howard getting a ring.
Yeah.
Dwight Howard getting a ring.
Is that his first?
Yeah, it is his first. This team is an interesting team. I'm actually taking a look at it. Can you believe that JaVale McGee has hung on to so many winning teams, even though he's a bum? He has more NBA championships than Hakeem Olajuwon, than Will Chamberlain. It's pretty crazy. Markieff Morris, nobody cares. KCP, man. KCP, was it game 5 where he was on fire? Like nobody could stop him?
Yeah, I believe it was game 5. Every free point was his. He was just in flow.
I mean, J.R. Smith. J.R. Smith is what J.R. Smith. He's LeBron's buddy. He provides no value to this team whatsoever. Kyle Kuzma, his series was interesting. I can't remember something huge that he did. No, Siri, I don't need you for any reason. I can't remember. Kyle Kuzma is going to be a special player. I still sincerely believe that. He didn't have a big finals. AD was AD. Danny Green, San Antonio Spur Danny Green was a really good Danny Green. This Danny Green, I don't know.
He's more like a lagging 3-point shooter. And even now, like when he gets, not even talking about like when he messed up the game 5 game winner. I'm just talking about overall. He missed a lot of good open threes.
Yeah, that's jump shooters though, man. I mean, that's it's easy to pick on a guy when he misses a shot, and Danny Green's an easy target and all that. But Jordan missed a lot of game winners. Larry missed a lot of game winners. Magic missed a lot of game winners, so on and so forth. That was his John Paxson moment, though. LeBron drives into the hole just as Jordan would, kicking it out to Paxson, just like Jordan did against the Suns. That was Danny Green's John Paxson moment. He came up short, though, but that's okay. Danny Green, multiple-time NBA champion. This was, again, we don't want to have the GOAT conversation today. I don't think it's necessary. This is to celebrate. Look, Jeanie Buss deserves this championship, and the Buss family. The Lakers went through a lot of challenging years in the post-Kobe era. People forget that Jeanie, Dr. Jerry Buss, right, who owned the Lakers, he passed on. His son was trying to wedge Jeanie out. Had the split from Phil Jackson, right, and then the Magic hiring and quitting was an absolute debacle. They couldn't get people to sign in LA. See, people forget, right? People forget how not good this team was. That at one point, the Knicks and the Lakers, and still the Knicks, could not attract. And so here's what everybody has to understand. And everybody's excited for the Lakers today, the Lakers tradition, the dynasty. The truth of the matter is, LeBron, with his outside business interest, his Hollywood interest, his business interest, which is great, he wanted to be in LA. He didn't need to have Magic Johnson say something to him. He chose the Lakers. There was no pitch. There wasn't anything there to say. That was the destination because of the other interest being in a huge market. He had never really been in a huge market. So you could say the Lakers are back. The Lakers are back because LeBron James picked you. And because LeBron James picked you, AD wanted to come. And since AD wanted to come, because LeBron couldn't win it without him, now they're NBA champions. That's a big deal. And that's something for all you Laker nuts out there. Oh, Lakers are back. Lake Show's back. Lake Show's not back. The Lake Show is back because LeBron wanted to be in LA. And he wanted to be, and he didn't want to be the secondary team in LA like the Clippers. Clippers are always going to be the weak little sister to the Lakers. It doesn't matter, right? But everybody's got this short-term memory issue of how bad the Lakers were before the arrival of LeBron.
Yeah, because the last time the Lakers were in the NBA Finals was 2010. That was the last time. It's been a decade. That was the actual last time.
Now, for most franchises, okay, that's just a normal course of operating things, right? But when you are in my opinion, the preeminent brand in the NBA, I don't know. I know Celtics fans may argue and Knicks fans may argue, but there's no bigger, more important brand in the NBA than the Lakers. Now, it may be a dynasty New York Knicks team. We're probably never going to see that, right? And so it is important in a lot of ways because if this was, Utah or Denver versus Miami, there may have been, a million people watching these games. And so I'm sure there was a bunch of people watching last night because they wanted to see either LeBron lose or the Lakers win. And, it was kind of when you're down 32, Josh and I were trying to come up with interesting ways that the Miami Heat could get back into the game. And you just wanted to run. You just wanted to see them make a run, make it interesting. And look, they could have folded their tent in Game 5 and just went home. They could have. But Jimmy Butler put up a Herculean effort that kept him in that. But there would have been no disrespect to anybody given with Bam hurt, Dragic hurt. Although, I think what was your point about Dragic? Because I think this is an important point, and I think it's one that most of the putzes in mainstream media aren't talking about.
Well, what I was talking to you last night about, my point was that they messed up. They were trying to have Dragic back for Game 6, and they messed up everything. Like the Heat, Jimmy Butler, Bam Adebayo, everybody on that team was already getting accustomed to running with offense without Dragic. So with him back on the court, he didn't look good. He was missing shots because he'd never taken a shot since playing half of the first game in the series.
Yeah, I think no. I didn't really give it much thought until you brought it up. I think they killed their chemistry. They killed the flow. That's not to say that last night would have been any different. It may not have been different, but because the very first thing you said to me was, there's just nothing out of these guys. There's no motion. There's no hustle. There's no that fast-paced tempo with the Heat. It was like the Lakers came on the court and the Heat were like, yeah, we got ours last game. This is all yours, sort of thing.
Yeah, because the thing was, I knew it was over when they started missing these good contested hook shots. Like when they were driving to the hole, they had a great shot and it just never went in.
Yeah, man. Look, I'm happy that the NBA season happened. I'm happy that we have a champion. I'm happy there's not this hole in history. I'm happy for the Lakers organization. In a sense, I'm happy for LeBron, the basketball player. That's a big accomplishment. And we'll talk about, we're going to have a podcast all about LeBron in the coming weeks and really kind of break down this person. The very first thing out of his mouth was, I want my damn respect. And it's kind of funny. I'll just say this. Jordan never had to say that he was the best because people already said it. Jordan didn't have to ask for respect because it was already given. There's a reason why he keeps asking for it, demanding it and wanting it. And he's trying to write his own narrative or his place in history. And I don't think it's warranted. Because remember, he's playing in the Staples Center, the house that Kobe, Magic, Wilt, and Kareem built. I'm not even sure he's in the top 5 Lakers. So, again, that's a conversation completely for another day. But basketball's in the books, man, and we got lots to talk about. Courtside Heat, the podcast, ain't going nowhere. Nowhere.
I know, I'm so happy this 2020 NBA season, 2019-2020 NBA season is over because I just want fans back into the stadium because I couldn't take the NBA bubble. Like, during the playoffs, I was dying as a fan, like, watching from home. But I'm happy that we were able to have basketball back. It was nice. I'm just ready for the next basketball season.
I'm telling you, people were more excited about the Phoenix Suns' 8-game run leading into the playoffs than they were about anything that happened in the playoffs.
Yeah, because you had everybody on social media, anywhere, talking about
and the Twitter game of the Phoenix Suns handle was stupid. But so that's what I'm talking about, guys. So, look, the Lake Show. Congratulations. Frank Vogel, Jay Kidd, former Phoenix Suns. Congratulations to you, pal. I know you won a championship in Dallas. This is your first one to coach. I hope you get a head coaching gig soon. Jay Kidd, I absolutely love you, man. Congratulations to that staff, the team, Genie Bus, the whole organization. I hope Kobe's wife and kids are totally stoked. As a little something special, like the Mamba was down there on an angel on that court, playing with those guys. That's pretty cool. That's a special thing. But let me tell you something. Basketball's 24/7, 365. There is no off season. We got the draft. We got free agencies. We got coaches hiring. We got so much stuff happening. Who's in, who's out, who's hot, who's not, who's real, what's going to be happening, and that's all going to be on the next podcast episode. We got a great lineup coming for you. Any last words that you want to give the plebes about the 2020 season?
The 2020 season was interesting with all the starts and stops, but listen, the NBA Silver, he did his job. He pushed through with everything between COVID and the other stuff going on in the NBA bubble. Look, they just did a great job. They pushed through. They made the best they could. Teams tried, players tried, and overall, I think they made it to. I think they made it very well. I think they made it pretty exciting for some fans with all the difficulties. I think this was really exciting NBA bubble, and the uniqueness was amazing. So I think with the Lakers winning, I think this is the perfect way to go out.
Yeah, it's an interesting point that you bring up. Adam Silver. We're going to do a thing on Adam Silver coming up. Adam Silver has acquiesced far too much to the players. But when you look at what Adam Silver has had to deal with since taking over for David Stern, starting with the, what was his name? Sterling and the Clippers and everything that came out about him and the forced sale and all this other kind of stuff. This man has had to deal with a lot. I am not an Adam Silver fan. Not any level. I think he's the worst commissioner in professional sports, and that includes Gary Bettman in the NHL, and that's hard to believe. But we're going to do a podcast on him. So, guys, we got some really cool stuff coming up. What is it going to look like? Will fans be back? What's the NBA season going to look like next year? When are they going to start? When are some of these head coaches hiring is going to be filled, right? When is the draft combine going to take place? Is there going to be a Vegas league? Who's going where, how, when, what, and why? There's so much stuff. Plus, we're going to do probably 2 teams at a time, cover their current roster, cover the salary cap, and then we're going to tell you what it is that they need to do, your team, to make it to the NBA playoffs or the NBA Finals next year. If they listen to us and our predictions sure to go wrong, Josh is going to tell you all the things that need to happen that won't, and your team will epically fail. I'm just kidding. But no, we're going to break all that down. Lots of really cool stuff coming up. Any final words that you want to say before I tell the plebes a couple important things?
All I want to say is just congrats to the Lakers.
Yes.
Frank Vogel did amazing.
Yes.
LeBron, congrats on your 4th championship. I wish there was an audience. I wish there were fans in the crowd because I believe the Lakers would have did something pretty incredible for Mamba.
Yeah, right on with that, man. That's a great point. I think the post game tributes, the celebration with all the fans there, the confetti flying, Mama's jerseys up, in the rafters, and they're doing all that. That is a great call on your part, dude. And so, unfortunately, Kobe missed out. But you know what? Kobe would have done the same thing. He'd have grinded through the bubble, man, and he would have willed this team to victory this season. Look, congratulations, Lake Show. And if anybody out there that, Frank Vogel was just along for the ride, you're crazy. Because when you got to manage egos the size of LeBron James and Anthony Davis and Rajon Rondo, if you think that's easy, go ask Phil Jackson, right? Go ask Eric Spoelstra. It's not. These guys are egomaniacs. So Frank Vogel, Jay Kidd, that entire staff did a great. Man, I'm so happy for the Lakers organization. Guys, Amazon Prime Days starts tomorrow. What does that mean? Is that Courtside Heat Prime Day start tomorrow? That's right. I'm putting Josh on the spot. I'm hoping every hour on social media for 48 hours he offers a new product. Are you in?
Yes.
48 for this. So, starting tomorrow, 6 a.m., there'll be a new product at twitter.com/courtsideheat, on instagram.com/courtsideheatNBA, on parler.com/courtsideheat, on YouTube. Well, he won't do it on YouTube. And then the store at Macari, CourtsideHeat.store. Then you can find everything there. Look, Black Friday's here. The holidays are almost here. Before you start stuffing your pie hole with all the turkey and the fixins and everything else, get your shopping done for that sports fan in your life. Well, they love hoops. We got it. We even got a 6 set of Pokemon cards that nobody's got that Josh has offering out there. We got books. We got DVDs. We got VHS. We got it all. CourtsideHeat.store. CourtsideHeat.com/shop. CourtsideHeat.com/shop. Man, the NBA Finals are behind us. Good stuff, my brother. I enjoy talking about the playoffs with you. And guys, this is either the third or fourth week in a row that we delivered on time, and we're going to be on time. This time next week, we're going to have an announcement about iTunes, Stitcher, and all of these amazing places. Can't wait to share that with you guys as we reach a bigger audience, a broader audience. We love you guys. We love sharing these stories with you. This was all about the NBA Finals, more specifically Games 5 and 6. Congratulations, Lake Show. I would say, are you going to Disneyland? But the fact is, you're leaving there, and you probably want to get out of there, and I don't blame you. Until next week, same bat time, same bat place, same basketball boy. This has been the CourtsideHeat.com podcast. We'll see you on the other side.